Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to take a look at how to enhance the color of your images without making them look like a cartoon. So welcome to the heat of an Arizona summer. So I am not going to be outside with my camera today because, well, it's going to be 112 degrees. As a matter of fact, my drone can't fly above 104 degrees. So I live here in the lower elevations of the Sonoran Desert. Normally, I'm not here this time of the year. I schedule myself to be out during the summer times, but with the way how the world's going these days, I'm working from home this summer. So instead of going out, getting sunburn, and by the way, did you know cameras have overheat sensors on them? Did not know that until I moved here to the Sonoran Desert and tried photographing in the summertime. Can't use your back display when you're here in the heat. Well, to make things even more interesting, I have a warning light on my camera. I think the camera is actually starting to overheat, so I'm going to have to switch off the display. So anyhow, what we're going to do is, I just got out of the gym. I'm going to go home, get cleaned up, and then we're going to go jump in the Lightroom. Well, we're here in air condition. So what we're going to be doing here today is taking a look at how to enhance the colors of your image but keep color control, keep it from becoming fake. So let's take a look at our first image. So this is the Arch of Constantine in Rome, Italy. Now this is from a trip many years ago. I believe I had a Canon Digital Rebel at the time. And so because I have that older camera, there's no calibration settings for that particular camera that are available to me. So you might be thinking, wait a second, we're talking about color. Why are we at the top of the development tools where that saturation bar is? I try to stay away from the saturation bar. We're going to start down here. Let me explain what this calibration does. If I were to take a Nikon and a Canon, same settings, same light, same target, they will render the colors differently. It's the difference in their sensors. When we had film, if you did Fuji or Kodak, same thing, same picture, same settings, different color interpretation. So looking at this screen, this image right now, this is how my camera at the time interpreted these colors, but it may not look right to me for whatever reason. So we're going to play around. The calibration affects every pixel on the screen. So there's a red, a blue, and a green component of every pixel. Keeping an eye over here on the histogram or underneath it, I'm going to move my cursor over a very blue area of the screen. I can see it's 27% red, 30% green, and 42% blue. Okay. So there's actually red and green in the sky. Go figure, but primarily it's blue. That's why it looks blue to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to play around with this blue primary. Now there's a red, green, and a blue primary. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the saturation and shift it up. Now that clearly made the sky an unrealistic blue. Let's take it back down, all the way back down, and clearly it's kind of ugh. But to show you that this affects every pixel on the screen, I'm going to play with the hue. Now the hue, if I shift it to the left, will try and make the blue more green. If I go to the right, it'll make it more purple. But I don't want you to watch the sky. I want you to watch the arch. Here we go. Notice that shift also shifted the color of the arch. Now it looks more of a pink color. Go in the other direction. Now it looks more of a green color. So you've got to be careful here when you're playing around with this calibration. It's very powerful because it does affect every pixel on the screen. All right, let's go up to the top and let's play with that saturation. So we're looking at an image I took on that same trip. This is in Sorrento, Italy, on a pier, and there's some changing houses there on the pier. And I'm looking at this orange, and I'm thinking the orange is a little drab and maybe a little bit on the red there. So let's go ahead and play saturation. I'm going to bring it up. And it does bring up the reds a little too much. I got the orange about where I want, but the aqua, oh, dear, no. That is just nasty. Doesn't work for me. So be very careful of the saturation. So I'm going to bring that saturation back down. Let's play about the vibrance. The vibrance, well, that kind of makes it even, yeah, no, not going to happen there. But I'll be honest with you guys, I'm taking these to the extreme. Just do a little bit of movement, just a little bit. There I went ahead and took the vibrance. Let's bring the saturation up just a tad as well. All right, so I got more red. I got the orange right. That aqua is just driving me crazy. I think that blue is also a little bad too. Let's go down to the Hsl Controls. Now these are going to focus on pixels that are predominantly a specific color. We have luminance, which will be the brightness, and of course the saturation, which will be the intensity. So in the aqua, I'm going to crank it up, and you can see it kind of makes it brighter, turn it down, and makes it darker. If we do the saturation, we can intensify the saturation or desaturate it. So because this aqua is really bothering me, I'm going to tone it down a little bit. That's a little bit better. And then the blues, I'm going to take the blues down just a tad to get those doors a little bit more natural color. And then that red at the top, yeah, let's go ahead and take the red down just a smidgen. A little too much. Let's bring it back up. And then that yellow pier. See, the problem with this is a very distracting element, this pier, this part of the pier. So I'm going to really take that yellow down, and it's not going to be as distracting. So again, this is what it was. This is at high intensity, but this is what it was. And again, watch the pier. I'm going to take it down, and now it's not drawing your eye up into that corner as much as what it once was. So when you are working with these Hsl sliders, you got to be careful. Let me show you something. So here is an image that I took in Washington, D.C. I'm shooting the Lincoln Memorial from the opposite end of the reflecting pool. Let's see what happens when I take the red band and I push it all the way up. I need you to keep an eye in this general area here, and you'll see what happens. Right there, you can see this band appeared. You might also see another one of those bands over here. This clearly is not natural. So you do need to be really careful whenever you start using saturation, because that can happen. Let's try with the purple, let's see if we get anything. So the purple, I have little spots appearing here and also in this area over there. So again, be really careful with this. Now, another thing you might want to consider doing to try and enhance your colors is sometimes contrast. Take a look at contrast. Now the contrast does darken the image a bit. It makes the range between light and dark a little bit smaller, but it can bring out color if you like. Take that right back down. Dehaze can also do the same thing, but again, be careful about taking it to the extreme. Now I've actually seen a lot the dehaze used to go to this level of extreme so people can get their photographs noticed, because look at the brilliant idyllic colors, but to the trained eye it's also fake. So be careful, don't take your sliders to the extreme. Alright, now one more thing I'm going to do with you guys here. Let me bring up a different image, one that I've been working on here. Let's see. So this particular image is really a struggle for me to interpret, because if you look more or less here towards the sun, this general area is starting to look a little bit fake to me. So I'm going to try something here. I'm going to do a radial filter. Now the radial filters, you would think it'd do the inside, it actually does the outside. So I'm going to invert this radial filter. And what I want to do is I'm going to desaturate that area just a tad. There we go. And I'm going to say done. And that to me looks much better because it's not so cartoonish when you're looking at the sun. It's a much better interpretation, I think, anyhow, of the colors. Again, with a lot of sunset, people like to crank up the vibrance, but you guys can see it just looks fake. Saturation, oh my gosh, that's terrible. So again, be very subtle in how you change your images, and you're going to have much better photography to show off to your family or friends, and also you're going to have more image sales, because again, people want to have an idyllic place, an idyllic image, but they don't want fake. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I've got for you in this episode. Hope you got a few tips out of how to use some of these slider bars to help control the color in your screen. There is so much more that you can do with Lightroom, but we got to keep it reasonable. So if you guys enjoy travel and photography, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And if there's a tutorial that you would like me to post for some technique in Lightroom, just leave it in the comments and I'll see when I can get to it. Alright? Take care everybody.